Now you're on assistance, you stay on assistance. This program will provide through the self-sufficiency packs, working with people towards their own self-sufficiency. And then once they're there, to say there are certain things that you can't do, one of which is come back onto assistance without having some kind of penalty provided for you.
This quiet rural setting just south of Sedalia isn't so quiet anymore. It's now the scene of a homicide investigation where the body of a newborn was uncovered.
Okay, last night the Sheriff's Department received a call at about 7:38 p.m. Landowner had found a dead infant on his property.
The Sheriff's Department says apparently the homeowner's dog dragged the child's body from some mulch where it was buried at the base of this newly planted tree. Authorities described the child as a white female with blue eyes, probably born about 2 days ago. The umbilical cord was still attached, indicating she was not born in a hospital.
This was, in fact, a live birth, natural birth. The cause of death was due to some trauma to the internal organs.
The sheriff says the child was probably buried here sometime Monday. The owner and residents living nearby say they haven't seen anything unusual in the area.
There was some violence conducted upon the, some violence inflicted on the child, whether it was, you know, with criminal intent or gross negligence. That, you know, that's something, you know, it's very early in the investigation. It's difficult for me to say.
Although an autopsy was completed this morning, authorities say details on whose child the baby might be are still sketchy at best. And even after genetic testing, they say it may still take a while before they find out how the child died and why it was buried in a shallow grave near here. In Pettis County, Pamela Jones, Missouri 17 News.
We've known about this since right after the election that they were probably going to do this. We've known for at least 3 weeks that they were definitely going to do it. They were just waiting until the official certification, which is when they could do it. So we, you know, and I don't see anything wrong with it at all. When something that is that close, I generally encourage people to go ahead and do it.
That's a bad combo. No way you can win.
Guys, looks nice. Where's the light at? Easy, Ryan, so you don't splat. Hands up, keep 'em up.
It was educational. It was a lot of fun. A lot of people thought it wouldn't be fun, but it was really more fun. It was really more fun than we thought it would be.
I want to be an actress when I grow up. I mean, I probably have no chance to be, but I want to be an actress. And there was a thing up there on acting, and we went to that. We were with a whole bunch of little kids, but it was fun.
Did you actually hear the movie by accident? Yeah. This was mine. Where?
Yeah!
Are we going to be on TV too?
Hi.
Oh, hello! I didn't.
letting them just walk out in the community with no control seems to me puts all of us in great jeopardy. By having a supervision component tied to a sentence, it allows for someone to oversee that person as they come out, to have some control, to have some authority over them, to make sure they are doing the appropriate things for a period of time.
We're a society that has become a much more violent one, and we have got to realize that we have people that we need to take out of society and that they need to be in certain situations permanently removed from society, but clearly removed for a substantial period of time.
Because I'd had some discussions with some board members, and I could not get that. I had Rick as a student. Rick graduated from Fulton High. Long after I had been given my summative evaluation, and long after I said that I had received no salary increase.
94 evaluations from Dr. Fessler, Mrs. Morgan, and Mr. Bluette. Is that correct?
I've got 2 kids that's been in high school, and he's been very fair and gone by the policy where some of the principals have not. I feel like they're being very nitpicking on Mr. Barton. I know the superintendent and principal now also has problems too, because I have dealt with him also.
And who decides whether you give them a new contract every year?
Discussed maybe the same night with what I consider to be a very...
I'm sorry. Are you ready? The contracts that you've had at the Fulton School District.
Have benefited. He didn't always have the solution, but he always had the ear, and we always felt better when we came away. The loss we feel tonight.
Yes, he was quite a character, and I certainly enjoyed him. He added flavor to the staff and was not shy in bringing up matters and spoke his mind, and we enjoyed that. Significance is to let the citizens and taxpayers of Missouri see that things have really gotten to the point where we're going to have to move from this facility, and we really do need a new female institution in Missouri. We have, as of today, we have 840 women incarcerated throughout the state.
He's a wonderful son. He was a good kid, never had any trouble. He has a little granddaughter that he adored. You won't get to see him no more.
He was a very nice, friendly fellow. He was always willing to help anyone in the community of any problem or anything they needed as far as business like, and he was just a super guy.
Our job is not necessarily to listen to the voters. Our job is to listen to our members, and that's why we only surveyed our members in this case. And I think people might not be too surprised that the business community has a perspective that may not be the same as the entire community.
And we encourage people to stop periodically and take a break. We've had 3 fatalities occur in the Troop F area, mid-Missouri area, and 2 of those appear to be fatigue related, where someone fell asleep and crossed the road and struck another car. So we're encouraging people to take a break occasionally and don't try and push it to get home.
Okay.
Better to be late than not make it at all.
probably have 50% of our goal. So yeah, we're really excited.
Okay.
So we're hoping to make something positive out of this, and we're really excited about what we can do with it. He wanted to do something as a memorial, and we thought this would be a good way to give back to the community because he did so much. And
expressing interest. The final decision is up to them, but a lot of people came to support Rick.
Brain off votes affect him badly?
Is this the brain trust here?
Yes, Howard Bender,
Glad Rick is fine.
Jim Jeffries,
Glad to meet you.
Christy Creason,
Christy?
Janet Pickerman.
We noticed it. We didn't know what to do about it. We tried talking with him, but I think eventually he did what was best for him, and that was to seek professional help.
We noticed I would say we noticed the problem beginning about 3 months ago, and that's when we started scaling back on his schedule. We ended up scheduling him actually a vacation time. Took a number of steps to try to help him out of it and try not to reach this point, but it was not adequate.
The acts committed here are unconscionable and should not go unpunished. The fact that tens of women in this town trusted that they were inside the tanning booth in a private fashion and instead were eavesdropped upon is just dead wrong.
And there's what we call a plant panel. I call it a plant panel.
He said that
I'm gonna pull.
It's a good week, and I think everyone is just having a good time with it, and it's worthwhile. You can see the progress taking place, and as we said, we are on target. Last summer, as you know, at this time, we were looking over flooded waters, and people were on sandbag lines, and this summer we're all here on this site building homes for a number of those people.
You need to carry that next piece all the way across the top of the window, all the way on down the line.
Okay, you gonna take that in? Oh, you gonna take it more suddenly than you thought you were?
Yeah.
Okay. It's you again.
Well, we had one of the largest parades we've ever had in Mexico. We had 53 convertibles containing former Miss Missouris, a former Miss America, and 37 contestants.
It's a lot of fun. It really is. It's more fun than when I was here competing because there's no, there's no nervous feelings like the girls have. It's just a lot of fun to come back and see everyone and relive all those old memories of 11 years ago.
Will be invited to participate.
Cities mentioned were St. Louis and Springfield listed.
A non-alcoholic New Year's Eve. That's what First Night is all about. It's to draw attention to the fact that there are things that a community can do besides just go to a bar and drink.
It's bad. We were afraid to get on the elevators, and they have no respect.
You know, I was encouraged that Mrs. Clinton took the time out of her busy schedule to, you know, talk to farmers and talk to me and let me tell her what our concerns were, not only for myself, but also those of us at the Missouri Rural Crisis Center.
How do you think the Clintons have dealt with farmers so far?
Just a good visual inspection. Take it to your mechanic or someone you trust, get it checked over to ensure that everything is in good working order, you know, so that you don't have problems out on the highway. If you have a vehicle that's overheating, do not remove the radiator cap. It is very hot, and when you release the pressure, it does boil over, and it can get on you and scald you.
The love of one's country is a splendid thing, but why should love stop at the border? Today, the people of Missouri send this shipment to our friends, our neighbors, as concrete examples of our love and concern, and as a model for future foreign policy.
These trucks you see here behind me are also part of the aid package. Groups have worked hard all year, raised money to sponsor these trucks. And these trucks will be delivered down there, 21 of them on this caravan, and they will remain at the communities where the aid is delivered.
Oh.
Kiwanis Club every year provides kids games. We do leg races, gunny sack races. We have a duck pond and a fish pond, water balloon toss, which is probably going to get popular pretty quickly. We have a little lemonade stand, and we have the correctional facility out IDing and photoing the kids.
Oh, real close, Robin.
Well, for most of us, summer means sunshine. But for millions of Americans, too much sun can lead to health problems down the road.
It could be a skin cancer.
1 million new cases of skin cancer happen each year, with the most dangerous type, melanoma, showing a 1,500% increase in the past half-century. And that's not all. Too much sun can cause cataracts and an overall weakening of the immune system. There are some scientists who blame the increase in skin cancer on the theory that the Earth's ozone layer is not as thick as it used to be. That allows more and more of the sun's rays to penetrate, those scientists say. To help us protect ourselves against dangerous ultraviolet rays, the National Weather Service is taking this new step.
The Weather Service today is beginning to issue a UV index which will tell people what their exposure to ultraviolet radiation will be at the ground level. We'll take into consideration the season of the year, the amount of ozone in the atmosphere that absorbs the ultraviolet radiation as it's coming in from the sun, and the types and amount of cloud cover that further absorbs the radiation before it reaches us.
The Weather Service will use satellites to track ultraviolet levels in 58 of the nation's largest cities, providing a daily ultraviolet index that rates the risk of sunshine from 1 to 15. Weathercasters in those 58 cities will be able to convey an important public health message, such as how quickly people can sunburn.
I think it's important that we have this index because it will enable a person to know how strong the sun will be on a given day and how much to protect themselves.
Experts warn that sun-safe behavior is always important, but especially so on a day with a high ultraviolet index. Sun seekers should wear a broad-brimmed hat. Sunglasses should be worn too, as well as very lightweight clothing. And you should have plenty of sunscreen lotion. Remember, the higher the sunscreen number, the less ultraviolet will affect your skin.
If you use common sense and protect yourself from the sun when you're out there, you can have that balance one needs to really enjoy yourself as well as having good health.
After a one-year trial in the 58 target cities, the Weather Service hopes to make the ultraviolet index available everywhere, including here in mid-Missouri. Bruce Asbury, Missouri 17 News.
He makes up his prices now.
I'm gonna actually have you lie back first just so I can look at your face.
Okay.
The light's a little bit more direct.
I'm gonna check where that
I'm gonna check
thing
where you
was on my
had the
nose.
actinic keratosis. That's what you had actually. It was an actinic keratosis, and
Right.
that was a precancerous lesion. I'll put a little headpiece on here so I look like a minor. Let's take a look. And nothing there has bled or crusted, right?
No, it's been
Okay,
fine.
Good. Any spot again, this little spot here?
Yeah. Little red spot there. It was bigger before.
What we've concentrated our efforts on is attempting to locate the young man in terms of search crews, et cetera. We take all of these obviously very seriously, and so we're trying to put ourselves in the shoes of what an 18-month-old would do, what traditionally they've done in situations like this, and that's where our searches are directed at this point.
Started about 3 p.m. Zelma Shock told authorities she woke up from a nap and her grandson, Gerard Algier, was missing. That's when a full-scale search for the boy began in the Sycamore Hills area. Emergency workers pored over land maps to find out where the little boy could have gone.
You haven't seen a small child?
No.
Okay.
We've been searching out here for like almost 2 hours.
Great. Thanks. I'll tell you what, we appreciate your help.
Even neighbors joined in the search. 3 hours later, they learned the whole time Gerard was safe at a friend's house. His mother says it was all a misunderstanding.
And I told her, I said, Grandma, I said, I'm here to get Jared and everything, and she was just fine. And I said, I changed his britches, and she's like, okay, we love you, and love you too, and we left. And she said, I gotta go to the bathroom, I'll be right back. I said, well, I gotta go, I'm in a hurry. So I think when she came out of the bathroom, she thought I was leaving Jared, and I was just gonna come by and check on him. So I think happened.
Well, I'm just glad that it turned out the way it did, that it wasn't a, that we had a happy ending to this.
Someplace along the line, there was a breakdown in family communications there. And as I said at the outset here, we were uncertain in terms of, in fact, what did happen. But we cannot sit and wait for 2 to 3 hours to check and double check.
Hines adds 40 people helped in the search today, which fortunately had a happy ending. In Boone County, Teresa Snow, Missouri 17 News.
Away from the occupancy, and that's where
With all the media coverage surrounding the O.J. Simpson case, I don't really think he can get a fair trial.
There's been a lot of irresponsible media coverage about the whole thing. It's all hyped up. Everyone's on TV, and it's going to be a sham at this rate.
You know, I don't really think that we have to see it that much and know every little detail of what's going on with it.
I think people should get a life and not be so interested in other people's lives, you know.
I think we have a tendency in this country to overblow any media event that we see as something happening to our heroes.
I think it would help his trial, personally, because I don't feel that he did it. I feel that it was mafia involved. So.
The media feels people are really interested, but I think everybody's
I mean, people want to know about it, but it's just like ravenous dogs trying to find out all they can about OJ. I don't know.
Oh, go ahead. What were you doing in your backyard?
Our chamber president officially welcome.
We're anywhere between 150 and 200,000 units short of needed housing for low and moderate income people in the state of Missouri. This project is one of several that Jeff Smith and his group have put together across the state of Missouri, and I will put it up against any housing production in the country.
The money came from the federal government, was allocated through the Housing Commission, and they have, I think, in record time gotten the money back out into the state and begin rebuilding for those people who don't have housing.
She sprang it, so she's...
So that's when we... Yeah, let me get this on here. That's what the little things look like.
They send you the tools and everything.
Everything except betadine and gloves and local anesthetic.
And you just throw all that stuff away that's in there. What about removing them? What do you pull them out with?
Needle splitters. Well, you use
them out.
You just whatever you can. What you do is you make an incision in the skin, and then you go up under there with a hemostat, and you can get them out.
But how did you learn how to do that? Did they show you? Did you?
Well, I was a resident. This was very popular to do. So, we won't show this on TV, but
okay.
Oh,
oh, you're a certified instructor, right?
Yeah. And
did they teach you how to do?
If we're to restore trust in our government, we must greatly reduce the influence of money in the political process and change the way we elect candidates to office. Only then will the voice of the average Americans of modest means truly and reliably be heard. And only then will we begin to restore confidence that our democratic institutions truly belong to all of us.
Swear I won't forget this, why do I regret this? In my mind reckless, thoughts are feeling endless. Sitting up I'm breathless, anxiety's infectious. I feel so defenseless, betrayed and embarrassed. I hate being open, I hate being broken. I feel like an ocean filled up with emotion. Anger ain't a potion, rub it on like lotion. I can feel it soaking, reopen, the scars have awoken. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go. The pain makes it real. I don't wanna feel, I just wanna kill the bad thoughts and steal a good thought and meal. I'm just lost, I feel, I'm just lost to feel. I need time to heal, I can't steer the wheel. Cause this drive it kills, and it gives me chills. A nice road it feels, I slip off the peel and crash all the steel. Will I ever heal? I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go.
Legislation over the past 2 years. I'm very thankful because you do not, or I, and in supporting me, so that I would have the time. But I want to tell you, in the last 2 years, I have seen a difference in the state of Missouri. I have seen a difference because we... Last 2 years. I'm very thankful because you do not, or I do not, accomplish.
This is work for self-sufficiency. That's the very idea of the welfare program, but it hasn't been doing it. And while often Democrats have gotten the blame for welfare historically, years and years ago, it's really spun out of control in the last few years under the Republican administrations because they did nothing about it except let it grow in size. And we have said it's broken. Let's do something about it, and we have actually turned a different direction. We're going to get people off welfare rolls and onto payrolls, and that is going to be positive for all of us. The taxpayer, the recipient, the employer, whoever will get the benefit.
I want to tell you that working with Joe Maxwell on this bill was a wonderful experience because not only is he bright and articulate and
that means I'm actually still trying to sort through the wreckage. Has never been elected homecoming queen.
Our policy on page 3A.
The bus.
Incidences of violence have been rising just throughout the state of Missouri steadily in the past few years, and the purpose is for administrators and teachers and parents to come away with some solutions on how to deal with that in the schools and how to prevent it, as well as how to deal with it legally when it does happen.
It's a problem that is so expansive that it goes beyond what people can do in schools, what educators can do, or what law enforcement officers can do, or what legislators can do, that it's a societal issue and therefore takes involvement from a broad spectrum.
docile, at least in their
Inside his pants when he takes his seat on the bus. It's almost time now. The bus.
That position will the person we appoint actually stays in that job until the next school board election, which is in April of '95. Then whomever applies for and wins that election serves out Dr. Oglesby's term, which is just another year.
.99.5% of our clients have vehicles, really. And so plenty of parking is really a lot more important to a lot more of the clients than bus service is. But bus service is pretty critical to those people who do not have a car.
Not only negative things we hear.
You know, it's good to put it on the track, The Love Song, which is not really a blues song. That's the thing of harmonicas. You always think, I'll play it on the 12-bar blues, and it's good to play it on like another song like Miss You, which isn't a 12-bar blues. I don't play on Miss You, but... and I was playing harmonica, and then I started to sing into the harmonica mic, so you get this sort of strange tone, and I started singing down the octave instead of it singing up. So, you know, that's what that is. Then I kind of take it up later on in the song, so you get this kind of breathy, sexy kind of thing.
I'll wait for you until the dawn.
Lower register delivery, there's this very strong harmonica point, you know, which he's played a lot on the album. He's one of the best harp players I know. That's no kidding. If he played harp a lot and got into that of being part of the band, then his singing would, the more he played harp, that his phrasing, that he would get another handle on the songs, rather than just as from the point of view of a singer. My life with this band has had its ups and downs, but at the moment I haven't known them to be enjoying what they do so much for a long time. You know, I feel very focused on what they're doing.
Our rate for basic has dropped from $9.74 a month to $9.16. And our expanded basic has dropped from $10.82 down to $10.19. The only increase is going to be on the equipment side. We have had a slight increase of just over $1 for some of our equipment charges, and our remote controls went up about 6 cents.
Constant lower there are the effects of the residual effect of the impact, which is but not in the detail, not as.
This is the smallest size I think you could see with. It's about 4 inches, and this is beyond anyone's expectations, and a once in a millennium event or something. To have a series of impacts like this, it's better than having just one comet hit. It's like it's a grand slam in baseball. This is the best you could possibly get. These impact sites apparently are visible even in small telescopes. And by small, I mean 4-inch in diameter or so. It wasn't even that hard to see. We were shocked. It took about 30 minutes for us to believe it, that it was actually happening. But they're not that hard to see if the weather conditions are good.
Spartan Aluminum Products announced today they'll create 80 new jobs for Mexico. Spartan is a die casting company that produces parts for the automotive industry. Spartan President Donald Jubal says his company chose Mexico because of the quality of its workforce.
A reliable and educated community that we could draw on because we are in a very highly technical type of a product, and Mexico has those things. It also has a good family environment in this community.
The company is expected to break ground this year and start production around the summer of 1995. Hubert Fenewald has lived in this area since 1943. He says he doesn't mind living right next door to an industrial plant, except for one factor.
Only problem would be maybe some from the foundry, but maybe not.
Because of?
The smell or whatever from that, but there may not be much smell.
The area still needs a paved street and a sewer line. That will be paid for with the help of a grant from the Missouri Department of Economic Development. State Economic Development Director Joe Driscoll says this project to bring Spartan to Mexico is another example of how the state and local communities are working together to create new jobs. Teresa Snow, Missouri 17 News.
She tried to take me upstairs for the ride. She had to keep me right across the shoreline. I just don't sing to drink you off my mind.
We have a roving patrol that circles this fence constantly, and there's guards that monitor the fence, but we rely heavily upon our electronic system here.
Joke about it. The nominees for lead actor in a comedy series are Tim Allen, just kidding.
The big story from the list of nominations is who's not there, like Tim Allen. He wasn't nominated for Best Actor in a comedy series, Home Improvement, simply because his staff forgot to submit his name on time. But his co-star, Patricia Richardson, was nominated for Best Actress in a comedy series.
I've been getting along for a long time in my career without any awards or nominations or anything like it. And, you know, I always considered myself a success if I could support. I mean, this is really very delicious gravy.
Another big story from the list of nominations is NYPD Blue. You see it right here on Missouri 17 on Tuesday nights. The show got a phenomenal 26 nominations, including 2 Best Actor nods for Dennis Franz and David Caruso. Another big story is that while Roseanne Barr Arnold was nominated for Best Comic Actress, her show was not nominated for Best Comedy. And for the first time, Murphy Brown was not nominated for Best Comedy either, but the star, Candice Bergen, was nominated for Best Comedy Actress. So it should be an interesting Emmy Awards show, and you'll see it here on Missouri 17, September 11th. Bruce Asbury, Missouri 17 News.
And Star Trek, The Next Generation.
The nominees for lead actor. All right.
We're still paying off our mortgage, by the way, on this home. Major expenses, though, are utility bills. Major expenses are grocery bills. Major expenses are, we need to purchase a new van. That's going to be a major expense. We have upkeep of the home and daily living expenses of a large house with 10 children. And our next major project to obtain here at Rainbow House is a new van. Okay. So if anybody's interested in helping us out with that main big project, we're working towards that.
Bad management and politics.
And she has a vision, I think, to serve the employees' needs very well. The final product was ultimately reviewed by the system.
There is a role for the idea of the give and take of politics, and I appreciate that, and I believe in that. But when it reaches the level of a criminal act,
The warning signs along the trail do say that bicyclists are supposed to slow and sound a warning prior to passing a person who is on foot. One of the other problems we have, though, is that many of the walkers and joggers are using personal stereos, and with that, many times the warning is not heard.
Police converge on this neighborhood from all around the city tonight after hearing the dreaded words, "Officer down." It happens when this stunned probationary officer and her partner are in this rough neighborhood on a traffic stop. Her partner, helping train her, thinks he spots a drug deal going down in a nearby alley.
And as the officer went back there to interview one of the people in the yard, a second suspect walked up on the officer, pulled an Uzi, demanded the officer's weapon. A struggle ensued. Several shots were fired. The officer was shot in the chest but had a bulletproof vest on, was also shot in the leg. The suspect was shot by the officers.
Even in this area where the sound of gunfire is normal, everyone knew this was much more than the usual.
There were some officers had some people pulled over right here at the corner at Aldine, and I guess for a traffic violation. And all of a sudden there was some gunshots, so they broke and run around the corner here. So I didn't know what had happened.
But before help could arrive, the wounded officer chased and caught one of the suspects. And subdued the suspect?
Yes.
After that chase?
Right.
And he was shot in the leg?
He was shot in the leg and had been shot in the chest, but apparently he was saved by his bulletproof vest.
Police tell me the probationary officer caught and arrested the second suspect. What's frightening about all this is the firepower on the streets. In this case, an Uzi assault weapon, and criminals who aren't fearful of anyone, not even the law.
The officers are imperiled to confront these things every day, and hopefully they manage to survive like they did today.
Elliot Davis, the 2 News Team.
I'm really glad that the bond issue passed. It's going to mean not having to do so much travel. A lot of us had to go to Ellis Library in Columbia.
Lincoln's future is going to be brighter. I think that the students and the faculty and the staff of Lincoln University are going to have access to more information through technology. The new library from Dunklin Street and from the highway.
Liz? Sit inside in the winter and look out. And this used to be the reserve room, which is now empty.
Cherry trees play a very important part in the Japanese tradition and as well in our sister city. And one of the things Mayor Hasakawa felt was that Columbia is very, very attuned to the environment and to visually beautifying our surroundings, and felt that the cherry trees would really make a nice addition to the city.
Are you going to plant?
They will ask the people who've applied to come in, and each of those applicants will have 3 minutes to present their thoughts and their vision, and their whatever they want to say about becoming a member of the Board of Education. And the board will use that information as well as their resume and their statement that they turn in as part of their application. What other kinds of things the board would...
I mean, it's going to a good cause. We're not keeping a chunk of it here. We're just keeping enough here so we can continue our efforts in relief and development throughout the world. Okay.
Not funny.
Craig.
Oh, thank you. No, surely somebody in the house will come up with $5.
They would call either their fellow employees or friends, relatives. A lot of people would, as we picked them up, they said, "Don't be calling us back." But one of the places we went to, a gentleman handed a guy a list and said, "As your last resort," and it was the list of all the employees and their phone numbers to call them back. And some people have done really good on getting pledges back out here. We had some committee meetings and we kind of shot. It's on 12.
I'm getting about ready to retire, but I think I'm going to have to work a few more years. You say we got a good garden and got beef in the pasture, so that's good enough. Mm-hmm.
What?
That tank in and everything for you didn't bother the tank? Well, yeah, but then they hook this up and somebody else working on this, MFA.
They're all open now. We've got a bunch of new menswear, women's wear, kids fashions, shoe stores, a variety of music type stores.
Look at McCarthy, got he's a label. Oh, that's funny. Oil. Oh, this is kidding.
When it was over, all that remained was an 8-year-old girl, a charred-out house, and an unavoidable question. Why were 9 children left alone to die in a house fire Saturday night?
The Carbondale case is certainly not unique. There have been a host of the so-called home alone cases in recent months. Of course, not all have ended so tragically. But is it ever safe to leave your children by themselves?
I think at a certain age you can, once they've developed the judgment, to avoid the hazards such as playing with matches or lighters. Young children should never be left alone at all.
The doctor says it all depends on the age of the child and the type of environment you leave him in. Unfortunately, there are no clear-cut guidelines.
It's a very dangerous thing to do. And I don't know if there's an age that it's okay to leave kids by themselves.
Mike Stubbs and other officers have seen their share of home alone cases, including one just 2 weeks ago. A Columbia woman was charged with 3 counts of endangering the welfare of a child for allegedly leaving her 3 children, ranging in ages from 18 months to age 10, home alone.
One of the first things that you have to look at is to see why they were left that way. Is it out of a necessity to work? Is it out of a lack of any other alternatives, any other family members, neighbors, or whatnot, and then suggest to them ways to better their parenting skills.
We may be hearing more about it recently, but that doesn't mean home alone cases are happening more often. And more news could be good news, actually, if increased awareness translates to fewer cases of home alone. In Columbia, Savannah Guthrie, Missouri 17 News.
It's a pretty city. I like it. I'm from Virginia and I like Columbia more. So.
It has the nice places to go, and it has the country is just a little ways away, and you have the winery out there, and you have the good school system. And
20's real good.
The vehicle was turned on its top. The doors were slammed in that they were wedged, so we had to first pry the doors off the vehicle in order to be able to get the patient out. Then we have to be able to pry them off in such a way so as we get the patient out without further injury to the patient, which was affected at this time.
chase them a little bit, so they're heading to the...
As I say, I set my alarm clock and missed the alarm, so I hurried up and got out here as fast as I could. They didn't come through, I guess, about 7:15 when they all started coming over. But it really is a treat. Everyone should see it.
Well, I'm going to chase them a little bit, so they're heading to the fairgrounds to, I guess, to do a little bombing.
Ready! Aim! Recover! Arm! Order! Arm! Recover! Up! You got it? Good. 1, 2, 1, 2!
Set of keys here. It's got a Harley Davidson key.
Is Truman the Tiger. The Tiger parks breath. Great play. You got a great basket maybe cherry there. You're going to have a good flight today. That's tremendous. There goes from Daycom, number 4.
Here you could get the adrenaline charge by doing something like gambling or like overbuying, which gives you the same adrenaline charge, which is reinforcing, and you go out trying to get it again and again and again. And so in that sense, that you're getting a real excitement from it, in that sense you can say it's addictive.
It took a St. Louis City officer 8 hours to process a DWI. We cut that processing time to 2 and 3 hours. So that's helped us a lot, thus releasing, like I say, the officer back to the street looking for another DWI.
I think that one that Mesa and Phoenix PD have. I've seen Phoenix. Yeah, that's pretty sharp. Okay. Or come back. Yeah, or you can spray stuff. Put that arm roll on there. You got the deal.
You don't think it'll be a referendum on the president?
I think it's going to be a referendum on the future of this country, and we'll look back at the past records of each of the candidates as opposed to looking at the record of the President of the United States. And when they compare my record of working in behalf of the concerns of people in this state to John Ashcroft's record as a do-nothing governor, I think they're going to decide they want to make progress in the future.
It was going to be set up almost in time when the flood would have taken it too. So we're lucky that it didn't come at the time the post office was originally slated for. And with the flood, it allowed us time to get a chance and move it up to higher ground a little bit more.
Help those flood victims in Georgia.
Okay, we had a part of the route that neither Mulcahy.
Well, I live close to Stedman. I'm on the Mulcahy route, but the flood had us pinned in, and it was about 4 weeks, and they brought our mail to the Stedman post office from Mulcahy, and I carried it in our area on the four-wheeler for about 4 weeks.
Hands say a lot about a person. They also say a lot about a community. Just look what they have to say about Mexico, Missouri. They speak of available jobs, jobs that range from manufacturing to healthcare, and an enviable quality of life. Hey, it's up to you. Your future is in your hands.
My budget won't stand them.
After the rains came late this morning, the Callaway County Sheriff had to abandon the search until Thursday. Still missing is Richard Drummond of Excelsior Springs, an AT&T employee who is in town for phone line repair. Finding him became virtually impossible in today's weather.
It makes it difficult for the chopper to fly in this kind of weather, you know, that it makes it difficult for him to fly, and then hard to see anything from the air or from the chopper with all the rain.
Drummond disappeared last Wednesday night from Callaway County. Days later, authorities found his AT&T company car at the scene of a double murder near Phoenix, Arizona, but still no sign of Drummond.
Mr. Babcock, who was found by the vehicle, was shot in the head. Mrs. Babcock was found, and she had been shot to death inside the residence.
And shortly after that, the murdered couple's car was used in an armed robbery in California. but the suspects got away from police after a chase. The Highway Patrol helicopter is helping with the Callaway County search, but is not available again until Thursday. That's when the search will resume. In the meantime, officials fear the worst for Drummond. Travis Ford, Missouri 17 News.
Careful. I almost lost that chair. Good. I'm Cindy Tandy. I'm the accountant with the chain.
Yes.
Very pleased to have you.
2-hour speech.
We don't have a true national interest in doing so. Of course, it's very sad what's going on there, but in my opinion, it's not a national military priority.
Congressman Jack Adams, Chair of the Legislative Affairs Committee of the Chamber. Appreciate you being here.
Congressman Kathy Pearson, Chairman of the Board of the Chamber. Oh, very pleased to have you.
I have a 2-hour speech.
Oh, you bet. I can't promise I'll listen. Yeah. You can sure have. Of
So you know what it's going to be.
According to the information we've been given, the gentleman had been last seen approximately 2 o'clock this morning. We have no idea exactly when he went in the pond.
and our plant maintenance supervisor sitting back here in the crowd, and they can well remember.
Comes along down this way. This was a levee that was built in 1952.
Several heavy rains can just put us in a lot of trouble again. We've really been blessed this summer without heavy rains again, but we're living on the edge here with these levees still out. I didn't forget about doing that, the symbols in the levee. The landowners and the farmers and the city and the Missouri Conservation Department are all members of this, will be members of this district, and we'll all share in the Missouri.
Large Environmental Commission, you know, had essentially determined the fate of like a large number of people in the lumber industry.